past 2 weeks, we've done a deep dive into Professor McGonagall's life from birth up until 1998. Today we're going to conclude her story with what happened after the Second Wizarding War and after the downfall of Voldemort. Having been awarded the Order of Merlin First Class by Minister for Magic Kingsley Shacklebolt for her unwavering allegiance to the Order of the Phoenix during the historic conflict, she was also eventually immortalised in a chocolate frog. 4 months after the downfall of Voldemort, after the battle concluded itself, after the castle had been repaired and the protective charms put back in place, she was then officially appointed headmistress of Hogwarts. Ultimately, the faculty were then ready to welcome a brand new batch of students into the walls of Hogwarts to begin their magical learning. During this time, the school also guided those who would have otherwise completed their studies had it not been for the Wizarding War, such as Muggleborns like Hermione, who did actually go back to complete her Newt exams. Around this time, she did also have a private conversation with Harry himself, and she made a somewhat controversial decision to add Snape's portrait into her office. This was in commemoration of his true allegiance during the Second Wizarding War. In the time that followed, Minerva oversaw a very trying time for the rest of the plants, animals and people at Hogwarts, as the final battle had left both seen and unseen scars on the castle. On the anniversary of the battle, Minerva would host special ceremonies, at least one which would involve a demonstration of the shield charm. So she'd have memorials and things like that to really honour anyone who had been lost, but also to remember what actually happened, what people had sacrificed. Having also lost members of the staff during the battle, she was also involved in recruiting new faculty members, new staff members into the school, and she actually did have a hand in also hiring former student Neville Longbottom. And of course, he went into the herbology department. Eventually, she also appointed him as her successor to the head of Gryffindor House as well, which is amazing for Neville, just thinking about everything he'd been through as well to really come out on top in his career and after everything had gone down. McGonagall was also known to have continued to attend some of the duties that she had done for Dumbledore when he was headmaster at the school, and she did actually take up permanent residence in Dumbledore's old quarters. Her new study became the home to many things, among which was a self-playing harp which could often be heard by the students. At some point in 2008, which was around 10 years after the battle had taken place, Minerva gave Hermione Granger special access to Dumbledore's notes on the tales of Beedle and the Bard to be published as part of her new translation of the book. At this point, Hermione had actually joined the Ministry of Magic, and she worked high up in the Department of Magical Law Enforcement. Sometime before the 1st September that year, McGonagall then charged Hagrid with serving as a special messenger to a young Muggleborn that had been admitted to the school to deliver his letter of acceptance, and to take said student to Diagon Alley to help him get his school supplies. She also created a dance club. She enjoyed dancing her whole life and once told a student that she enjoyed waltzing as much as Transfiguration, and she was a sprightly young lass in her day. She thought the Yule Ball had boosted morale at Hogwarts and wanted to give future students that same experience. She talked to the students when they arrived at the club for the first time, telling them not to be nervous, but ascertaining their prior experience. Had they danced before? Was it their first time? She also tried to encourage them to bring their friends so that they could all participate together. McGonagall was an incredibly powerful and talented witch whom none should ever have underestimated. Her magical prowess allowed her to be the teacher of Transfiguration, a remarkably complex field of magic which she was an expert in. She was also highly capable in many other areas of magic. She survived both Wizarding Wars and a duel with Voldemort himself, and she was also able to brew the highly complex Animagus potion at just 17 years old. She was also the only person who was ever able to produce 3 Patronus charms at once, which she also did non-verbally, just to add to how much of a badass she is. But that is the conclusion to the story of Professor McGonagall. She had a incredibly coloured life. She had heartache, she had loss, but she also had many happy times as well. And at the end of everything, she put her students first. She was incredibly talented, and she went on, I have no doubt about this, that she went on and made Hogwarts exactly the place that Dumbledore would have made it had he still been around. But that's it, guys. It's a fairly short ending to the story. I just wanted to give you a bit of a conclusion as to what happened to her, how she led her life after the downfall of Voldemort. I hope you guys like this video. Do press subscribe if you do. I've got lots of other things like this coming out. Press the like and leave a comment about what you think about her, and if there's anyone else you want me to profile as well. But until next time, you take care.